Hey everybody, this is the update or the recap for this week in Washington, D.C. The week was marked by sadness as we said goodbye to two great Americans. The first is Congressman John Lewis from Georgia, who was a civil rights icon who fought tirelessly for the things he believed in and suffered mightily for his beliefs. But he never gave up, and I will tell you, he was a gentleman to me every time we worked together, and he will be well missed in Washington, D.C. And around the country. The other is Herman Cain, who's got a great story, a presidential candidate who succumbed to a long illness and complications of COVID-19, and so that really rocked the Capitol this week. On the legislative side, we dealt with the appropriations process. As you know, that's where we decide how much of your money to spend on what programs. And while there are 12 appropriations bills, on this occasion we put 6 of those into one bill, so it's called a minibus. And let me just tell you some things about it. Of those 6 appropriations bills, they covered defense, commerce, justice, science, energy and water development, financial services, general government, labor, health and human services, education, transportation, and housing. First of all, the process, of course, just like the last one, broke the budget caps, the law that we already put into place that said this is how much we're going to spend. So the first thing we did was spend way above that. This package spends $1.311 trillion in discretionary spending. So that's on top of what we already passed and on top of what I would call autopilot, automatic spending. Includes $68.4 billion for overseas contingency operations on the global war on terrorism funding and $210 billion in emergency funding. Now, the $210 billion in emergency funding is right on top of the budget caps that we already spent, and it's on top of the COVID relief efforts that we've already spent $3+ trillion on, in the midst of negotiations of spending yet more money on COVID-19 relief. So, look, the government has to set a budget, just like your family does. You only make so much money and then live within it. And so, for those reasons and others, some of the policies that were in it, I voted no on it. I did offer a couple of amendments that were passed and included in the final bill. One was on funding for female genital mutilation care, and so I was proud to have that one passed. And also on hydropower. I don't know whether you know this, but only about 3% of the 80,000 dams in the United States that are capable of dealing with and producing hydroelectricity are used. And so it's been an effort of mine all along for baseload power that is sustainable, that is renewable, and that is reliable 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, doesn't hurt the environment, no emissions, and is just a wonderful, reliable power source. And so I was happy to get those things passed. Now, the next round of COVID relief, I'm sure you're hearing, is being discussed right now. I will let you know that the Speaker rejected 4 different offers from the White House on moving forward this, including an extension of the $600 per week federal unemployment compensation addition. And that's one of the things that was rejected. Of course, they offered it for a week while negotiations were still going on, as some people are relying upon it. But those were all rejected. It's clear that, look, where the president wants to be funding childcare and some of the problems there, funding some of our businesses that have been really hit due to COVID-19, our schools, healthcare facilities, those type of things, and the Speaker Pelosi and Senator Schumer's $3.6 trillion COVID-19 relief package. It's just clear that this has become a partisan issue, unfortunately, and I think we really got to get serious about this. We've already passed and spent. Well, we've already passed over $3 trillion in COVID funding. One of the issues, quite honestly, is that money has gone out to the states in various places, but a lot of it has not been spent, yet we're looking to spend more. Meanwhile, the people that need it, we have some counties in Pennsylvania that are being penalized that can't get their funding, and we have some businesses and different concerns that have not gotten the money from the last measures that we took. We also had a couple votes on childcare. I voted against both of them. I think it's important that I tell you why. The first one, let me see if I got it here, spent $50 billion for the childcare industry, which is, you need to know this, which is higher than the complete annual revenue of that industry across the country. It's just more than all of the entire revenue for that industry. And actually what was asked for was essentially less than half that. So I get we want to help and we all want to help, but we got to be careful here how much we're spending, and we're just throwing money out. It also, when you took that money, would require many things that would make taking the money very burdensome for the childcare operators. And the other thing it did was it didn't allow other organizations that are allowed to do that, like church camps and other private organizations, religious organizations who are licensed now to receive any of that money. So it's not a level playing field. And if we're going to help the childcare industry, that's fine, but let's let everybody participate. The second one was HR 7327, another one where the price tag was disproportionate to the need. The CBO estimated the bill would cost more than $165 billion over 10 years. And one of the things that among the spending was problematic is these are direct payments. And when you're making direct payments, you want to protect the taxpayer. And what do I mean by that? So somebody could receive a direct payment for child care assistance even if they don't have a child. And there's nothing in the legislation to deal with that. So we want to make sure that the people that need it get it, but we also want to ensure that the taxpayer who's paying for it is safeguarded as well. It's an easy solution. I don't know why those things weren't in the bill, and I don't know why the bills weren't more reasonable from a price standpoint, but that's essentially what happened this week. And as you know, we will continue to wait for the negotiations on another COVID relief package, if there's going to be one, to be concluded, and at which time we will go back into session and consider those and vote accordingly. So, and when that happens, I will let you know what's in the bill, what's in the proposal, and then how I voted on it. Until then, I hope you stay healthy and safe. God bless you.